morning, everybody. Evening and good night. Make sure my mic is on there. Okay. Either way, it's a great thing, right? It's great. Yeah, this is wonderful. Monopolies. Go billionaires, 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 billionaires. Brainwash people, brainwash people, brainwash people. Yay! That's what we used to do in corporate America. Anytime there were big mergers in corporate America, everyone gets excited. Oh, wow, did you hear about it? Yeah, it's fantastic. They're merging. Oh my goodness, it's just a big merger. Oh, wow. Monopolies are such a good thing. Oh my goodness. We're doing so well as the human race. Oh, I'm so happy for the billionaires. Billionaires, billionaires, billionaires. You know what? I never thought the end of the world would be so funny. I'm just sitting there laughing like, oh my God. I see people promoting it. They're all excited. Yeah, Time Warner, AT&T. My bell is back. Brainwash my mind because my mind's just dirty. My mind's so dirty. The billionaire's gonna clean it. I'm so happy. Oh my God, you cannot make this stuff up. They don't even know where the swamp is. They can't even make it up. I just sit back here and I just laugh. I think it's funny. Around the world, you know what? I know it's not funny to y'all. Maybe it is, I don't know. You got drones overhead dropping bombs. I'm just trying to tell you why, that's all. We know what's in the swamp. We know there are 2 plugs in the swamp. There's only 2. All you gotta do is take those 2 plugs out. And believe it or not, Americans are actually very smart people. Believe it or not, they're human. I know sometimes it's hard to believe, but Americans, they do have brains. It's just, they don't have all the truth and they think they know every daggone thing. I was looking at Operation Mockingbird, which is just a delicious topic. You know, there's some people who think, oh, well, it's conspiracy. Operation Mockingbird's not a thing. It didn't exist. Yeah, oh, it did. It did. And Operation Mockingbird was like the baby version. But it's 2 plugs. If you got to go to work, I'm just going to say this and you can leave. You're done for the day. We're going to have a discussion. 2 plugs, which are why this swamp is full. And while every president talks about the plugs, no president will dare touch them. This is how it works. For those of y'all who still think Obama was a good guy, deep down, they just put Sasha Malia Bo in it's a dog is Bo, right? And they was going to kill him or something, or starve him or do something. Before he went in, he said, we need to clean up corruption in Washington. That is the basis of the problem of every government. And he went in and he became corrupt. Okay. How do you know? 2 plugs, just 2. Operation Mockingbird, the monopolies, Bill Clinton Telecommunication Act 1996, the mergers, you know, how all of the different media companies, independent journalism, free media, NDAA, breaking down the laws to a point where you can have massive mega media corporations that control people's minds. There was a great quote this morning from, what brother was that? What was his name? Roger Ailes. He said, it's not what you put on the news that changes the world, it's what you don't. And that's why the extreme left is so silly, stupid, ridiculous, and dumb. And the extreme right is silly, stupid, ridiculous, and dumb. But basically, Operation Mockingbird, the CIA took the media and brainwashed people's minds by controlling what was released. They had, was it 400 CIA agents? And this is all released. Like, none of this is news. This is very old details. But it was baby Mockingbird. It wasn't big Mockingbird. Let me see if I got a picture so people can see Operation Mockingbird, Mockingbird. And they create a bunch of mockers. Operation Mockingbird. And so what it did is it created an ability to brainwash people. It was a propaganda act, if you will. So I know they weren't fighting the deep state. No, Obama, he joined the deep state, got his membership, got his pen, put it on, became a part of the deep state, brainwashing people. And then Trump came in, it's same thing, same genius statement. Now, everything else was stupid, ridiculous, and dumb. But that's just me. It's my belief. But he said, we're going to drain the swamp. Okay. So I sit back and I let my Trump friends say, listen, we're okay. Hey, he talking like Obama. He understands the problem that the swamp, Washington is a big swamp and you need to drain it. Even Congress are victims. Right? Do you know that the majority of Congress actually get their news from the Washington Post, which is owned by Jeff Bezos, was a whole part of all of this nonsense? And so you pull the two plugs, everything writes itself. And so even Trump went in, said the same thing. Made sense. Pull the plugs, drain the swamp, get our country back, right? Because when Americans are allowed to hear the full truth, they can make up their own minds. You only get to stay dumb in a ghetto, if you will, in a media silo. That's the only way you can make an intellectual with multiple PhDs and bachelor's degrees in his pocket up the butt everywhere, just all of this education, and make him a blithering idiot on the left and on the right. That's the only way you can do it. You have to control the information they get, because if you give them the information and you talk about Operation Mockingbird and the Bay of Tonkin and all of the conspiracies that everybody was involved in, then they can stop and question and say, well, maybe my leadership aren't who they say they are. So how do I know the draining the swamp is not the agenda of the current administration or the previous one? Because they get in and they start filling the swamp up and they don't go anywhere near them damn plugs, do they? But I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Y'all, a lot of y'all mad with Trump. Some of y'all still mad with Obama. I don't blame them. You know what? This is why I don't blame them for going anywhere near those damn plugs. If I were president, if you President Gerard right now, today, just right now, like Gerard gonna pull the plug, he gonna pull the plug and save us. Hell no. I'm not going anywhere near that damn plug. I would just be just like Trump. I'd be just like Obama. I ain't going anywhere near that damn. And we could blame Bill Clinton, right, for the Telecommunications Act. Was it 1996 that allowed all these mergers to occur? I know I got to picture that too. What happened? But it was long before that. Like, it wasn't just a Clinton thing. You know, you had these massive media corporations coming out prior to that. But why would I not touch the plug? And so the whole, well, gosh, I got a whole bunch of things in my head. Let me try to get them out slowly in order where they kind of make a little bit of some sense. Operation Mockingbird was a total success. It was too small, though. 1996, around that time, you had major media corporations that were salivating, right? You were looking at dial-up internet. You remember dial-up internet? And then go on the bulletin board and download your little nasty pictures. Y'all remember that? You had to go through. You had to say, wait. I was in college. You had to sit there and wait. Like, dang it. Oh man, that sounded like a good. You got to get to the text of the picture. This is what the picture is. I didn't do that. I didn't download none of that. I download bunnies and kittens. Bunny chewing on kitten. Okay, that looked like a good picture. I think I might want to see that. Hit download. And you gotta go do something, go to sleep, whatever, wake up. I think I had Prodigy back then. Don't go looking up my records, NSA. Y'all gonna find, oh yeah, you're not gonna want to see them pictures. I was a little weird dude in college. But anyway, so all the pictures come down. You get to see them later, but they didn't want to do that, right? They realized, man, Operation Mockingbird, it worked out. But the problem is we got all of this new internet stuff coming out. How do we get control of this? What'll happen? And so the communication bill, Bill Clinton, worst president on the planet, but I still did what he would do. I'm gonna tell you, I sell y'all out. I'm gonna tell you in a minute. I'm not gonna lie to you. I will sell you out. Go ahead and make me your president. Put me in Congress. I just that's why I laughed, Congressman. I laugh. I'm gonna tell you why I sell you out. I'm just like, man, I ain't talking about. He's supposed to be talking about some truth. He gonna sell us out. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I will sell you out. You, all y'all. I sell y'all. I'll be like in the swamp. I'll be in there with my rubber dub, singing my Ernie rubber ducky. You're the one. You make bad time lots of fun. And then just with the alligators. Because I know I sell y'all out because y'all suck. Y'all suck. I sell y'all out. I sell y'all in a minute. You know what? Because I suck too. That's why. As a collective, we suck. We don't get behind our presidents. And so that was the whole thing about the Communication Act, the breakup, is that, it allowed for major media corporations to come together. Now you don't need 400 CIA operatives with bags of money going around paying journalists. Now you could just do it with a few checks. Save money, it's more sustainable. They could just write a few checks. Okay, 6 companies. Okay, here you go, there's your money. You know, just it was more sustainable and it made sense. You know, the CIA wanted to go green. They wanted to go. They wanted to go green, so they didn't want to, you know, have waste a lot of gas, y'all. You know, 400. You know what? 400 men in black cars. You know how much gas that is? Driving all over the country, paying off journalists, ABC and CNN and CBS and Tom Brokaw. Oh, come on, man. They wanted to be green. They wanted to be sustainable. So Bill Clinton did that, and then we just went back to the land of monopolies, single points of failure. That was one of the biggest lessons I got out of corporate America. Is you don't ever want your name attached to anything that has a single point of failure, ever, ever. Any project someone brought to my desk, single point of failure, oh hell no, you ain't getting my stamp on that. Disapproved. Back to the drawing table. You need multiple ways to keep things going. And so it was a great single funnel way of just having 6 corporations that controlled the majority of the United States media. And through that, they made United States people really dumb on what they did not tell them. Endless war started, which is the whole purpose of the CIA. If you go back to the beginning of why they created the CIA, it was to start up endless war. And that's what they're doing. It's their job. I don't blame the CIA either. If I was in the CIA, I'd be doing what they do too. You know why? Because y'all suck. I sell y'all out too if I was in the CIA. I don't believe in taking on these monsters alone. I don't. You know why? One man did. One man. Y'all voted him in as president. He decided, you know what? I'm going to take on this deep state thing. I'm going to take on this military industrial complex. I'm going to drain those plugs. And when JFK, where the plug? JFK got real close to the plug. He's about to pull that sucker. It was no more JFK. And what did Americans do? Oh yeah, that's you know, that's not. I posted something earlier today. Who was it? I think it was Jesse Ventura. There was a brother on Jesse Ventura today, and he was. Oh, that wasn't today. That wasn't today. What day was it? It was a few days ago, and he was talking about. I got too many daggone windows open. He was talking about Operation Mockingbird. It was deep. He was talking about like the level of investigations when Bill Clinton was sticking his thing and somebody else wasn't supposed to be doing it in the White House, which I had no problem with. I think it's funny. And they spent millions upon millions of dollars to find out who he's sticking his thing and when he's sticking it. Poor little Monica. Hey, she just wanted a job, y'all. She just wanted to pay her mortgage. You know, every evil done going back to history of time was to pay a mortgage. She just wanted to pay her mortgage. But they spent millions of dollars on that investigation, millions of dollars on all these investigations. And I think I don't know how true it is, but you know, he said it on the True release news. They spent about $8,000 on the JFK murder. Like, I guess the news agencies, whatever, like it was kind of demonstrating the inability to even want to actually find out who killed JFK, because they know who killed JFK. The media was in bed with the CIA at the time. They already knew all of this. If they didn't know, they just knew not to know. Sometimes you got to know not to know. They knew they didn't want to know. They knew who controlled things. The money bag man was going to come with the car, the men in black, and they didn't want to know. But it's hard for people to actually form a good decision when they watch Fox News. Fox News will make you stupid, right? It's not always because they lie. It's because they tell a one-sided story. CNN will make you dumb as a bag of bricks if you watch CNN. The Washington Post, oh my goodness. ABC, CBS, and if you're not in America, it's important for you to actually process what broke America. Like, this is how you break things. People individually are intelligent little creatures, right? They can figure it out. We've evolved the abilities to recognize a threat and to figure things out, you know, to feel the pain and want to make a change. But if they don't have the right, if they only get one side of the story, you can make anybody stupid. It's really easy to do. You just selective information. That's why I love that quote. I had to put the quote out there. What is his name again? I don't know who he worked for. One of the big news agency. I think he was a producer or something. Roger Ailes. It's not what you put on the news that changes the world. It's what you don't. Operation Mockingbird was a baby project compared to what we got going on today with the big monopolies we have now. How do I know Trump is not draining the swamp? And he'd be dumb to even try. How do I know Obama didn't try to drain the swamp with the various NDAA breaking down the ability to not have massive media corporations, even with the kill list and all of that nonsense? I think personally that they made them pass. That's why I don't hate the guys. I think those guys are just those guys. I do exactly what they do. Like I said, I sell y'all out because we don't get behind anybody to do it. We let them kill JFK and we didn't give a damn. We didn't question. We let Trump get in the White House, and we're too busy fighting Trump or loving Trump or focusing on who in Hollywood is having an affair with somebody else and somebody diddling this, that, and the other dumb stuff, that we can't even focus on the fact that the people who murdered JFK were behind all of this, and they're still behind it. And they are dominating the world because we can't even get real information out to people. We don't actually have real journalists. We don't have news. All we have is pundits, partial fake news, and half the story. And it makes you really dumb. You're an intelligent person, but it makes you really dumb. You want your country back? Like if you look up, go outside, look up in the sky. You look up in the sky, you see drones up there and they say United States Air Force on it. You want that to stop? You want your freedom back? You got to help Americans get their freedom back. You got to help Americans actually see the truth of what's going on around the world because they don't see it. They can't see it. They were born into these media ghettos, and because they were indoctrinated that they're this color, they're this race, they're this religion, they were born in this type of community, they're this class, that they watch this news and they do it. I love my family to death. I do. They're good people, solid, intelligent people too. But they're dumb as a bag of bricks. That's why I don't get offended if you fall into that category, because I'm dumb as a bag of bricks too. I don't know anything. I don't think any of us do. I think there are people who want to know the uncomfortable truths, and then there are people who are comfortable not knowing anything. They're comfortable just being a part of it. You would drain the swamp if you abolish the CIA, pull that plug. And you could probably say multiple. There are other intelligence agencies that we don't know anything about. I think people say there are like a dozen of them. We don't even know all their names. I'd love to get rid of all of them, all the private armies. Give them jobs, though. I'm not mad against these people. Give them jobs, because you want them to support this. I just want the CIA, the FBI, the DHS, and all of these intelligence agencies to actually be the heroes a lot of them wanted to be when they went in. But that's not the job, right? They want to do the job, but if you give them a way of doing it that makes them a hero, helping people, stopping wars, supporting peace, saving lives, they'll do it. But the people who run the CIA don't want that. That's not their job. They're not paid to do that, the FBI and these groups. It's like that. I posted something. I was waiting for the fire to catch. But I'm surprised. A lot of woke people around here. A lot of waking people. I don't think woke exists, but waking people. So, we need to take GMO because I am anti GMO going into food and going in people's stomachs, right? Because it's all an experiment and nobody knows the long-term effects of that. But I was saying that, we need to I forgot what I said. I said something. I thought I was going to trigger somebody who's like anti-GMO, anti-fight the tool, not the utilization of the tool, right? The CIA is not a bad thing per se, and these intelligence agencies, they're just tools and they're utilized for the wrong reasons. They're utilized against humanity, not for humanity. They're utilized for Wall Street, for problems, not against those problems. Same thing with genetically modified organisms. They're just not utilized to help people. They're utilized to make a whole lot of money selling apples that don't break down on the shelf that nobody knows the long-term effects of. So this is what I was saying, is that the Problem is when you attack GMO, you attack the tool, you piss off a lot of scientists who work for those corporations. When you piss them off, then you got a problem. When you piss off the people who work for the CIA and the FBI, you got a problem. These people just want to be heroes. Scientists just want to do the science. They don't give a damn how much money Monsanto makes. They don't give a damn how much Arctic apples and GMO papayas from Hawaii and soybean and canola and corn sell. The scientists don't care about that. But they're going to pay their mortgage. You come after their tool, then they're going to fight you, right? And that's why the only scientists that stand up against GMO are people who don't work for the GMO companies. Now, we got a great fight going, but the other half of the scientists that work for those genetically engineering companies, imagine if they were in the fight too. Imagine how much easier this would be. Imagine if we were united to fix the GMO problem by getting them to use GMO for good things, perhaps for medicines, perhaps for not releasing into the environment, perhaps for not killing bees with just genetically modified pollens and neonicotinoid pesticides, if I said that right. What if we got them working on dinosaurs? What? Well, okay, all right, that's my thing. I want dinosaurs. I do, but somebody, they corrected me on that. Dinosaurs, they had their time, they went their way. But what if you looked at things like the Tasmanian tiger, right? Why can't we bring the Tasmanian tiger back? We could bring the Tasmanian tiger back because we extincted it. Why can't we bring back the woolly mammoth? Their environments are still here. Now, I'm not saying they can do this today, but I'm saying the scientists that work on, what is it, CRISPR and genetically modified organisms and genetically engineering technologies, I think they'd love to work on that. But we go after them. We go after their mortgage, we go after their survival, we go after their BMW, their car, and their means to feed their family. So of course they're gonna fight any sort of labeled GMO or GMO food approach. I'm all for the use of responsible technology, right? And 98% of the people that I know of, I think, pretty much agree on all the same topics. We just don't know how to talk about them. We get upset, we get emotional, we get passionate, we get only one side of the story, and we start a fight. And then that's how Operation Mockingbird and whatever we have today, Obama with the Propagation Act, propagation. I'm a plan guy, I'm thinking propagation. Propaganda Act, how it works, divide up the people, keep these people angry by showing this view of the police, don't show anything positive, keep these other people angry by showing these people getting welfare, and then make these people angry by showing Muslims cutting people's heads off, make these other people angry by showing Christians doing this, and they divide everybody up who mostly all want the same thing. They want to survive, they want to be left alone. So that's what I was saying in terms of genetically modified organisms, is what if the scientists we got on our side, what if we pushed and helped them and funded the use of CRISPR to try to figure the problems out in laboratories to help people, as opposed to just rolling out genetically modified foods because Monsanto and these companies want to make big profits and sell tons of pesticides. Pull the scientists back to the side of science. Pull them away from corporation science, corporation profitable pseudoscience, pull them back into the community of science. Anyway, that's the first plug, the CIA. And it's funny, a lot of good people work in the CIA. A lot of good people work in the NSA. A lot of good people work in these actors. So it may not even be an abolishment. It just may be more citizen oversight. It may be tweaking them and bringing them back into the space of being constitutional and non-treasonous. Pull that plug, but no president will touch that plug because nobody supports them, which is why I sell y'all out. I'd sell y'all out of it. And you know what? I think if you were president, as tough as you think you are, put your chest out, I'm tough, you'd probably sell everybody out too. You don't know the power structures and their abilities to influence people. All we know is we see all different types of administrations going in, and they all do the same thing. They're bombing our friends all over the world. That's all we see. Americans have no influence in their government. United States Corporation of the Earth. And the second one, the second plug, media monopolies. They can't exist. I would love to say no monopolies, but maybe that's too hard. Right? That's right, but maybe it's too hard. The human brain, it's not, I say it all the time, it's not designed to have control over other people. So how in the hell could a CEO's brain be designed to have a mega corporation with 100,000 employees and a power to buy politicians and government and buy legislation? How does it make any sense? It makes no sense. I was thinking about the other day, I was like, what would the world be like if the world was run by 5,000 monkeys? Who wants to live in that world? And is it significantly different than a world run by 5,098% monkeys? It's no different. It's no different. Our brains we haven't evolved to a point where we can have control over each other. So monopolies can't exist. Mega structures you can't have mega anything that controls human life. You can't have mega corporations, certainly not mega media because it controls their brains. You can't have mega chemical companies, mega auto companies, mega government, mega anything, mega church. You can't have mega anything because mega everything becomes about some slavery and control. So I'm just saying no media monopolies. Because the thing is, if we can give our friends and family back the ability to think for themselves, the ability, the survival, evolved, critical thinking, survival mechanisms to actually look at two sides of a problem and come about a solution that actually would work and be sustainable, everything else would right itself. Everything else. I know it's alligators in the swamp, crocodiles in the swamp, mosquitoes and all this other bad stuff. But if you actually get the CIA, it's over here, CIA plug out, the water's going to start draining. And you get the media, the mainstream monopolized media plug out, everything will fix itself. But no president will go near that because we're stupid. That's why. No president, nor I, nor you in office would go anywhere near those plugs unless you had the majority of people supporting you. Unless you knew that if they can, so if I were president, which I never will be, I don't want to control anybody. You make me president day one, I would break apart everything. I'd take us back to a tribal time where we just had chiefs. I don't believe in control. I wouldn't do anything because half of y'all are going to hate me and the other half of y'all are going to love whatever I do. But either way, when they come to kill me, you're not going to march. You're not going to say, no, we know Harvey Oswald didn't do this by himself. No, we know the bullet came from a wrong direction. You're not going to stand up and force the people who actually paid for the murder, allied with who was the guy said on television, one of y'all, got a lot of smart people here, said on public television that the CIA killed JFK. And people still didn't stand up and people still didn't ask. Trump came out and said, yeah, well, some of these things we still got to keep classified. You think that was Trump's idea to keep the CIA or to keep the JFK files classified and redacted? Do you think that was his idea? No, had nothing to do. He understood that if he released them, he was, hey, the times are coming to an end. What are people saying that his number one argument is that he can't download porn in the White House or something like that? I was like, oh, poor Trump. But no president will go near those plugs because the American public are too stupid. The American public are too divided up by the mainstream media to actually do anything. I'm gonna look at some comments, but this is why I laugh when people tell me Obama's making America. What? No, he wasn't making America great. Oh no, Obama was bringing hope and change. Like, no, he's not. He's not going anywhere near the plugs because if somebody kills him, you're going to be fine with it. You're going to believe the news media cycle, and after 24 hours, you'll be wondering who shot who in entertainment, who committed suicide in Hollywood, or who had a baby with somebody else, who's getting married in the UK. That's what you care about. Presidents know that we're too stupid. There's no way they're going to get people and help people if people won't help them. You know, you don't want to talk to people who voted for Trump. The people who voted for Trump don't want to talk to people who voted for you because you're gaslit and you're brainwashed and you actually believe that presidents actually run all of this, and they don't. I don't believe there's a cabal anywhere though either. I don't think that there's 6 men in a room. People talk about the Illuminati and all this stuff. I don't know anything about that. That's too deep for me. I'm a simple guy. What I do know is greed is a bastard. That's what I know. And greed at the mega corporation levels are bastards. I grew up around some very wealthy people, and I know that there is no honor among thieves, right? I know that the big billionaires that run this world are probably mimicking them. They don't have any hate for the population. They just have a love for money. And they know that the money that they make tends on their level tends to be from the population being gaslit, loving their iPhones and loving entertainment and Hollywood and music and Nollywood and Bollywood and not paying attention to what happens on their level. And so on their level, I don't think there's a plan. I don't think there's anything. I just think that you've got big billionaires who are all fighting each other to be bigger billionaires and be trillionaires. And no matter what happens to them, they'll stay on the billionaire level. So they're all allied. But the only way you get to have billionaires is you got to have 7 billion very stupid people. Right? You have to have in America 240 million very gaslit people fighting each other. And so that's the only organization I think at that level exists. And I don't know, again, I don't know anything. I'm not saying the Illuminati doesn't exist. I'm just saying that based on the levels that I operate and the things that I can see, it makes sense and it's plausible at that level that there is no master plan, but that they're always fighting over control, right? The billionaire globalists are fighting the billionaire nationalists in every country. Everybody wants the money and power, but it's all done on keeping people fighting each other. Keeping, I won't go through the different groups, but it's just like this tribal thing. And I don't understand it. And I see it. I even see it in my friends sometimes. Like me, I don't want to debate you. I could care less. I love you to death, but I could care less about debating you. Like I look at things and I can form my own opinions. I got my own beliefs. I don't care what you believe. Like it's not my job to change what you believe. I'd love to show you some information and tell you my experiences and you change your own beliefs. But this idea that other people have to believe what we have to believe is useless. Like, I know I'm laughing, it's wrong. I should be laughing, but I got a lot of flat earth friends. I do. And I listen to what they say. I do. I don't put them in a ridiculous place. I don't put them in oh, that's just ridiculous. I don't know. To me, a lot of things they say are not really plausible, but I've never been to space. So how do I know? I don't know anything. All I know is these Operation Mockingbirds and these major media corporations are always lying to me. That's all I know. I know that for sure. Short of that, everything, my whole reality could be false. We could be in a computer simulation, as some people say. Let me look at some of the comments. Voters don't want the responsibility. They pass it on to corrupt people. Yes, Eva, and that's the exact problem. Eva Sue, my friend from way back in the day. Activists, we used to be activists a long time ago. But people outsource their intelligence. They cast a vote and they go back to ignorant land. And they outsource the control of the world to very corrupt political parties. Both of them. I'm going to say something that's going to make people mad. But I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. Trump will be in there for 8 years. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. And it's not going to make me upset. It's not going to make me upset. It's not going to make me upset because Trump scares the hell out of people. And that's important. The only thing that keeps people from outsourcing laws to very corrupt politicians that work for Wall Street is fear. And whatever it is about Trump, he scares the hell out of the left. And it's important that we bring the left back to common sense land. It's very important. I do agree with my friends who voted for Trump, who did it to stop Hillary Clinton. I agree with them because I know who the Clintons are. I know who she is and I know what she's done. Actually, I don't. I take that back. I don't know who she is. And that's the scariest part. I have no idea who she is. I have no idea what she's done. But we get a little insight into this insane woman, this psychopath and her psychopath. Well, is her husband a psychopath? I don't know. But her husband did real nasty dirt too. And we don't know what we don't know. And we don't know what we don't know what we don't know. But we do know that they're a part of the establishment. And so I get that. And so the Democratic Party in my country, they've decided that they don't want to change. They flipped the bird to everybody and said, nope, we're corrupt, we're dirty, and we're foul, but stink. We're not gonna wash anything. We're gonna stay nasty and funky, and we don't care what y'all do. Screw Bernie, screw everybody. Now, mind you, they actually, I think, got to Bernie now because they get to everybody. If I was Bernie, I'd sell out too. I'd do it exactly because the population isn't smart enough. The population isn't critical thinking. The population isn't questioning it. The population doesn't realize that the news doesn't exist in their country. There is no news in America. It's not news. It's state-sponsored partial information designed to keep you fighting with somebody else so no Americans have any say in any parts of their government because they have a world to invade. They want to start a war with Iran. They want to start a war everywhere. You know, the whole North Korea stuff, everybody. Oh, we're safe now. We're safe now. I caught a little piece of the news clip on I think it was China television, CGTN. I caught a little bit of it. Oh, it's safe now. I guess what did Trump say? Everybody can rest. Everybody, I can't put my Trump hand up. Everybody can rest in peace, safe. You're safe now. We have a deal with North Korea. Rocket Man will not be firing his rockets. You can sleep safe now. You know, don't lose any more sleep over this. We're gonna be safe now. Number one, I was never scared. Okay, all right. Nuclear weapons don't scare me. I'm not even sure if nuclear weapons exist. They could be a false flag. But the idea. Sometimes you got to use common sense. All right. This is why I like fake news. I like fake news because it makes you think. We need thinkers. We don't need controlled truth ministry news. We need people to see lies and fake news because it helps your brain. It helps the kids to figure out that's phony. That makes sense. That makes no common sense. So I need to question this. Like you need the neurons to develop in human brains so that they become questioners. And that only happens when you got that friend that lies about everything. You gotta have that friend that lies about everything. Just telling stories, you know. And you know he's a liar. He lied. I got the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip. No, you don't. You ain't got no G.I. Joe with no Kung. Bradley's doesn't even have it out yet. Y'all remember Bradley's? That's one. I know I'm old. Y'all remember Mimco? Mimco only had. It's not even at the Woolworths yet. Amazon doesn't even have the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip. How you got it at home and your daddy say that you can't bring it out or bring it to school so we can see it? You lying. You don't have a new Transformer. He don't even exist, you know. You need the ability. There's something about the human brain, how it develops, and it becomes this conspiracy-minded neural network where it doubts things that doesn't make any damn sense. And when it comes to North Korea and this deal, it doesn't make any damn sense. Not if you have common sense, I don't think. Like, how does it make any sense that I said yesterday, that they, for generations, have been doing everything they could to make an atom bomb or a nuclear weapon. And they finally make it where now nobody will invade them and they're going to give it up? That makes no sense. That's how you know the news is a lie. That's when you know they're lying, is your neural network is made up to say that makes no sense. Why would they give it up? Every country that doesn't have that Rothschild bank, every country that moves away from the currency of the nation that's invading the world for the sake of Wall Street, of billionaires that we don't get to know, they all get invaded if they don't have nukes. So why would this country, after sitting down and meeting, oh, it's because Trump scared them. You think Trump scared Kim some dumb some? Trump did not scare him. All right, let's just be honest. He was close to making a nuclear weapon. He made his weapon, he put it on a missile, and now he's calling the shots. President went over there. We can't say that we know what happened. None of us really know. But they're not denuking. Stop cheering that. Stop clapping that. Stop sharing that. They're not denuking. Why? Because would you? In a nuclear world, would you? Is there anything America has to offer North Korea to make them give up the only thing that keeps us from going in and murdering everybody? No. Doesn't make any sense, does it? That's why fake news is important. And yeah, he's a proponent. Well, I don't know if he's a proponent of the fake news, but he's going along with the whole mockingbird structure of mass media and keeping people stupid because he's doing what most people would do in that position. Because nobody will get behind if the CIA decides to murder Trump or whoever runs the CIA. It's not them. You're not going to question it. He's just going to go into the night silently, just like JFK did. because you don't question anything. You go along with things, you're enjoying your lifestyle, and you're okay with the way that we're. All right, I'm really gonna look at comments. All right, really gonna look at comments. Going back. Let me go back. Let me go back. Greetings. Good morning, Mary. And good morning, Heidi. Sorry you're late. That's okay, Heidi. I started a little early. You're not late. I started a little early this morning. Trump is angry that countries won't buy our GMO products, so he's implementing tariffs. Clemente, and that could be right. That could be true. I don't know. I think that he's a wealthy billionaire. He wants to make a lot of money. He's lost billions by being president accidentally. And I think it makes sense that he's going to make deals with any company that gives him money or funds Trump towers, Trump operations, whatever, so that he and his kids will be wealthy after he gets out of the White House. Why? It's probably what I would do. So it makes perfectly good sense. And so tariffs are a fantastic idea. We need the tariffs. We need the trade wars. Those things are wonderful, but they're doing them for the wrong reason. And that should be obvious. And so that's why I say when he does something that's smart, I'll say that's smart. It's a good idea. We need local economies. We don't need billionaire multinational economies. It's not for us. Like, you know what? I try to pay attention to things that are for me. Things that scare nukes don't scare me. You know, I could care less about who has nukes. That's not a part of my day. Billionaire trade agreements, not part of my day. Sanctions, not part of my day. I don't really care anything about that. And they're not for poor people like me. They're not for the upper class, the middle class, or the lower class. That's all about the elites. And I know very few elites, and they could care less about me. So I care less about them. I think in order to have $1 billion in the bank, you got to be a psychopath, because why would you keep $1 billion of this thing that could stop kids from dying? You know, I met a good brother yesterday. Said he owned 3 pairs of shirts. Intelligent, educated, minimalist. He said, I only have 3 pairs because I have no need for any more than 3 shirts. Why in the world am I going to feed into this craziness? And his sticking point was this. His sticking point was that, hope I say it right, correct me if I'm wrong. He said every 10 seconds, a child on Earth dies of starvation. Think about that. Every 10 seconds, from the moment I start saying that, a baby just died from starvation on an abundant planet full of food. He said, there's no way I can be a part of that. So he owns 3, he's a minimalist. Now his wife isn't, but he's a minimalist. And he was a very inspirational guy. Great conversation I had with him. And so we have to go in directions like that. We have to become more. He inspired me. I need to have less shirts. I need to have less pants. I need to stop buying all the crap that I do. And I think I've cut back, which is a great blessing to run in front of him, because now I realize I need to step my game up. I got to step my game up and stop buying so much. I need to step my game up and do my part of the 3.5% of people that it takes to bring all of this nonsense down, so we can put smart things back in place, like no monopolies and no private armies and no CIAs and FBIs and things that aren't out there helping people, not the ones that are out there guaranteeing that we have endless war. So I think, you know, Trump is going to do what he's going to do. He's a wealthy billionaire. But one of the things I appreciate about him is I don't think people would be upset if Clinton won. I don't think people would be upset if, I don't know who ran. I don't know who else ran. Sarah Palin. I know Rand Paul ran. I like him. This is why I was glad he didn't win. He speaks some common sense. But if you put people in who majority of the population trusts, they're going to go back to being gaslit, buying 20,000 shirts and tons of shoes. Now, mind you, I'm not against that. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have those things. What my point is that when we know consumerism are why we don't have a country and why the other countries are being invaded and their governments are being bought, then we shouldn't be a part of that. You know, we need to go to an automated society where, yeah, they can make machines that make shoes for free. You can have every color girl match every outfit. You can have all of that. You can have 80,000 shirts. But should we have these things in a time where a child dies every 10 seconds from starvation? That's the question you got to ask yourself. And that's why I'm out of the consumerism game. And I'm pulling myself out more and more that I can, because this thing needs to fall. People are busy waiting for everyone else to stand up. I'm guilty too. Yes, Alicia, we're all guilty. That's why I don't judge anybody. I don't care what anybody else sees in their mirror. I only care about what I see in my mirror. This brother inspired me yesterday, and I need to step up my game. Now, I haven't bought a shirt in probably 10 years, a little more than that. But it was inspirational enough that I'll tell his story. It's inspirational enough that it reminds me that I have a lot. And I only have a lot of clothing because I only figured out late in my life that how I was a part of all the wars, how I was a part of all the slavery, how I was a part of all the forced indentured servitude and the debt slavery and the things that were happening, how I was a part of causing famines all around the world. And I don't want to be a part of that anymore. So I'm a very minimalist. I drive an old truck. I'm gonna keep my old truck. Betsy's holding up. She's got a little mileage. She shakes and giggles a little bit. Start her up in the morning. She I still got her, you know. But I'm gonna hold on to it. I'm gonna do my best not to spend into the sick society that we have, right? You know, I'm gonna do my best to, you know what I wear most days? I wear flip-flops. Why do I wear flip-flops? Because they don't cost a lot of money. They last a good amount of time. We have to carve back our consumerism. What's the point of buying the next biggest TV? I mean, is it really about bragging on Facebook? Somebody mentioned AT&T merger. Yes, Jennifer, the AT&T merger with Time Warner. Things aren't getting better in that perspective. They're getting worse because it increases the level of brainwashing that our friends and family are going to have. It's increasing the level of problems that we're going to have. Exactly, Gerard. It's pathetic. The media has so much mind control. It is, Nancy, and we give it to them. We give it to them. We're happily, because we're busy. Like Eva said, we outsource critical thought and critical thinking. We're not watching. That's why I keep saying it. I don't think Trump is demon enough. I don't. I think that he, like Obama, gave us insight into the problem, and we dropped the ball, which is what we always do. They go into the White House, and whether the little bits and parts and pieces that actually meant well never happen, because we go off to fighting each other again. We go off to fighting the police and talking about the military and talking about each other and talking about religion and all of this stuff. So every post I make, for the most part, they're thoughts, that they're questions to try to understand why people believe what they do, so I can develop a respect for why people believe what they do. I respect most of my friends who are atheists. I respect most of my friends who are religious. I respect my friends who are flat earthers. You know, if there's a little bit of experience and information that might make it some sense, you know, I don't have to take the belief, but I want to develop a respect for you. If I have respect for you, then we can have a conversation. And this is why the parties, the left and the right, in all countries, they teach you to have a disrespect for the other side, your others that don't exist. They teach you to have a disrespect for other countries. So it's okay to bomb them and murder them and shoot their kids that run at your borders. It's okay. And what is it, Italy right now? There's a boat of 600 people they just turned away, immigrants. It's okay for the boat. It's either, I don't know if it's Italy, Spain, I'm messing up. It's okay for them to turn that boat away and not let these poor, hungry people dock, right? It's okay because people don't have both sides of the information. They just see a boat full of people who are going to be poor that land on their shore that might end up stealing because they got to eat. And they don't think about how they voted and who they put in office and if they supported the wars and destabilization, keeping the third world, pushing the third world into fourth world so their government can steal more money from other people, indigenous, and hand it up through these big banking systems to people we don't know. We got to know all sides of the story. All sides of the story. Divide and conquer is working. Divide and conquer is working, Nancy, and it's off the hook. It is just amazing. That's why I try to focus on, is it undividing? Uniting, you know, trying to unite people and get them to see that everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time, right? When you see that and you have respect for people, you'll listen to people. But if they can teach you to be ignorant like a child and hate somebody and call them a racist because they voted for Trump or call them a libtard, then it automatically puts in the daycare style. It's not even daycare, because daycares are smarter than that. It's like a grade school style form of argument based on disrespect and personality attacks, not an intellectual discussion on information, critical thought, and looking at all sides of a discussion and having a logical discussion, which is why I respect and I appreciate a lot of my friends, because I sit there and I don't necessarily like every comment. And if I don't like your comment, it's not because I don't completely agree with all of it. And because I like it, it doesn't mean that I always agree with it either. I like a comment sometimes because I agree, I appreciate the adult level way you're approaching your discussion. I might completely disagree with what you're saying, but I still might love your comment because I'm seeing how you're speaking to people with respect. I'm seeing how you're calling each other brothers and sisters, and I know, pre-election, y'all were on completely different sides. I love adults. I love adults. I love kids, and I love adults too. And we have to have more respect and appreciation for somebody else, even who believes something different than you. Give them time to see the things you saw. Just share the data with them and see what happens. And my stance, we talked about the immigration thing. My stance on the immigration is pretty solid, that human beings have migrated all over this planet because they're supposed to. Because when the climate changes, when bad times come, human beings are supposed to walk away from the bad stuff, and we're supposed to invite them in where we are because we got good stuff. But it involves having love and respect for other people, people that you don't know, people that you've never seen, people that you don't meet, people who you accept have struggles of their own that you may not see. They're human beings. They got problems just like you. They're little, they got a son that picks his nose and eats his boogers too, and wipes them on the doorknobs. They have sons who do those things too. They go through the three things that you do, and we got to have enough love for people just to accept that and have respect for them. Like I said, why would you help somebody? Not because they're your color, they're your race, they're your religion, they live in your country. Help somebody because they're a human being. They're a human. They came in the world the same way we do, and they're going to leave the world the same way we do. Bare butt naked with nothing. And in between, we need to try to be as less ignorant as possible. Good morning, Brother Gil, running late. Slipping in late from Vermont, having a heat wave. Well, climate change, that's another one. That's another one. There's still people arguing over climate change. Who was I watching yesterday? I was watching Joe Rogan, and he had the guys talking aliens. So I was posting some alien stuff yesterday. He was, I think he was an astrophysicist, whoever he was, some type of scientist. But he was talking about the hundreds of billions of Earth-like planets that are out there. But he was talking about climate change later on in his broadcast. And there are people who still fight climate change. Like it doesn't exist. I don't see it. I don't see it. The climate always changes. And I was making a point there on that comment section, which was the climate always changes. Always. All the time. It's always going to change no matter what happens. So how much it's changing today, to me, doesn't matter. Who caused it doesn't matter. Because I know the people on the left, and we have these illusions, right? The people on the left are for climate change, and the right is against that climate change exists. And to me, it doesn't matter, because all your leaders don't give a damn. All of your leaders, if human beings are causing climate change, the leadership, the entire leadership of the left and the right love it. They love it. They're sending drones and bombs and destroying countries and just fueling up nuclear ships and sending them all around the world, and still got the diesel trucks from the daggone Vietnam War, sending them everywhere. They all love climate change. They're changing the climate. So I think the people on the left maybe are concerned about climate change. Their leadership doesn't give a damn. Their leadership, they're going to do whatever corporations tell them to do. They're going to do whatever Wall Street tells them. So you're not getting any climate change, anything positive, by putting a left person in office. They work for the same corporations the right does. And that was kind of my point, is people are still debating this thing from perspectives that, oh, Trump is going to ruin the climate. No, he's going to do what he's paid to do, which is what everybody else is doing. You know, you don't have a solution. You know, just putting somebody else different isn't a solution. But people are still arguing over climate change. What if we just accepted the scientific fact that the climates will always change? And it's more important to save people from those changes. It's more important to invest in the technologies that can help us with those changes than to point fingers about who's trying to change it worse and when everybody's changing it. Do you fart? Do you have gas? Okay. If you do, you know, y'all remember the theory about the cows and the methane and climate change? All right. Oh, and he made it, I think I posted, I don't know if I posted, it was a good talk yesterday. And he made a point that the ice age is never coming again. You know, in the search for life in outer space, that very soon we'll be looking at their climates. We'll be looking at the atmospheres that we'll be able to see from a distance and peer through them and determine, you know, levels of oxygen and methane, and determine if there is a species, if there's life on that planet, because they'll have some sort of a global warming effect. They'll have some sort of a change to the environment and the gases in the atmosphere. And his point was the ice age will never come again, not while we're here, because perhaps that's how life goes. When intelligent life gets developed on a planet and they start terraforming and making cities and utilizing energy, you know, that massive change in how energy is being utilized stabilizes the environment to a very warm place, you know. And so the point is that climate's gonna always change. It's more stable than what it's ever been because we exist and we're doing our thing. And we probably just need to spend more investment in caring about the people who are mostly affected by it changing, as whatever this new stabilization time frame of warming that we have, because we're here and everybody's going to keep driving their cars, you know. Yvonne has said, actually, I would love for Hillary to run in 2020. I'd love to watch the circus. Maybe clueless people would finally realize what's going on. Well, you know, Yvonne, they could run Hillary and Hillary's not going to win. I can I stake everything I have. She's not going to win. She's not going to, it's not going to happen. I think too many people are wide awake now. I think too many people are, bad word, are very woke. Too many people are realizing who the Clintons are. And too many people are happy for things to stay how they are right now, destabilized with the media and Trump fighting and everybody yelling, screaming and fighting, because here we are 2 years after the election and people are still engaged in human rights. And to me, that's more important than anything. That's why I don't care about anybody's politics. What I care about is that you care people are dying right now. That's all I care about. And for some reason, Trump has the ability to make y'all do. I mean, just think about it. As a grown man, he has the ability to make grown people all over the world watch his Twitter account. You can't make this stuff up. I don't know why. I don't get it. I can't figure Twitter out. I tried to. It's hard. But he's smarter than I am when it comes to that. But he has adults all over the world watching a little yellow bird. And their whole day is driven on it, whether they hate him or they love him. And to me, while I think he's some sort of a distraction too for the deep state and Operation Mockingbird and whatever all this evolved into, because that's the job as a president, keep people divided, it's not going to be a nice time where I feel confident that my government's in place. Like, to a degree, I agree that Trump was a troll vote. That was a vote of the trolls. And right now, trolls being big in this online thing and in the country, there's no way they're going to let you put anybody in that isn't extreme, right? So Trump will be in there 8 years. My fear is what happens after 8 years. After 8 years, it's my hope that enough people were scared about every president who talks about draining the swamp, not touching the swamp, joining the swamp. It's my hope that possibly will actually put somebody in who the majority will support, who understand all of the conspiracy theories really weren't conspiracies, that these were actually now declassified documents. Operation Mockingbird was a thing. And all right, let me go down in the comments. And they actually come about some solutions that actually make some sense. And they come about with solutions that don't involve murdering people, that don't involve war, that don't involve violating the Constitution and taking more power from Americans and giving them back more. And I really don't care what party it is. I don't personally think that you're going to ever get anybody good in a Democrat or Republican party, because both parties are bought, and how they actually pay for their mortgages is through lobbyists. And I don't think the leadership in either party who actually control things, not the presidents and all the little minions, but I don't think they're going to give up that money. I think they have the mansions and they're not giving it up. I think that they have a very divided, gaslit voting population, and they're not going to give that up. So I don't think they're going to put anybody in that's going to actually do anything. I don't know if if Green or if another party could do it either, which is why right now is a time for talking. It's not a time for politicking. I don't care about the politicians and the lies that they're told to give on television. I care about our people actually starting to embrace the fact that we live in the darkest time in the history of the human race. That's what I care about. Minimalist 2, I've gotten to the point where I don't want any object that gives me a feeling of attachment, especially when it's all junk now. Yes, Sharon. And the other funny thing, Sharon, is I find that I don't need any of the junk, and I don't even want it. Like I see people posting the new cars they buy, and the new TVs and the new phones. It's just not even interesting to me anymore. You know what? My phone works the way I want it to. I finally figured these daggone things out because I don't read the daggone document, the manual, but I don't want it to change. I get that this is all about slavery. When I say that I don't think slavery is a good idea, I actually mean it. And so I don't want to buy all that crap. Respect is an acknowledgement that we are all one and connected. Thank you, Jennifer. That is what respect is. Respect is having a sense of oneness, that we are a 7 billion strong family that keeps turning on each other, and we need to stop doing that. We need to have more acknowledgement that a human being is a human being. Me of the biggest defenders of wetlands, swamps, and indigenous people. Thank you, Grace. We do need to defend the natural environment. We need to defend water rights, the rights for people to have that. I have no respect for any of the psychopaths or those that support them. And find the conversation tough. Yeah, Brother Gown, I feel you, and I do understand that, and that's hard. It is hard. But I don't think we're going to get anywhere unless we have more numbers of people who actually understand how dark our days are. Right? And that population are the people we need to talk to, right? I don't think that we can change what they believe, but I think we can plant seeds. And wherever you stand on that, Brother Gunn, I see your posts and I see you planting seeds all day long. That's all we can do. We plant the seed, put the information out there, and the people who have brains that have just enough information, that understand that this world is wrong, what they say in the Matrix, that this world doesn't actually make sense, that there is some sort of I don't know if it's evil, but there's a feel that just doesn't feel right. They'll take the seed, they'll swallow it, and it'll blossom in time. So I don't, but I think we have just enough respect for people to plant the seed, and not engage in the debate. And that's the only way I can do it. So I kind of agree with that, to a degree. I don't have an interest in debating somebody who's enveloped in the system, right? I don't know who's actually has the ability to start waking. So I don't get in the debates. I make my points. I let people make their points, and I disappear. I'm completely. Ivana said I'm completely wrong. Gerard, you're completely wrong. Okay, where am I wrong? About the immigrant situation in Europe, these illegal economical migrants have no right to be accepted to any European country. Okay, Ivana. So I think where we fundamentally, I guess we disagree, is because I feel that all the immigrants are family. I feel that starving people shouldn't be allowed to starve. I know that the borders that billionaires drew all over this planet aren't for me. They're against me. I know that the third world countries are kept in the third world by our government so our lifestyles can be nice. I know that my lifestyle here, why it's so happy and peaceful and everybody's happy going to the park, is because they're destroying their countries, they're stealing their minerals, and they're putting sellout governments in place in those places. And so, in terms of immigration in Europe, the United States, anywhere, it's been a human right to migrate away from danger since the beginning of human history. And it's only in recent history that these colonizing billionaires actually say people can't migrate away from danger. And to me, I think that's wrong. I think if I were standing on my property and there was a gang chasing a woman and they were going to rape her. This is a question I'll ask to everybody, not really to you, Yvonne. I like analogies. If there was a gang chasing a woman and she was trying to run on your property and get in your door, would you let her in? And I'm going to ask this question from a right facing perspective. If was it MI16, MI7, MI6, whoever y'all hate now, MI13, the gang that's killing a lot less people than your government, them, the ones that y'all hate, the migrants. If they were chasing, I don't know, some girl from the local high school, would you open the door and let them migrate into your house, into a place of safety, and lock the door, call the police? Or would you just close your door and just say, you can't cross over into my border, you can't cross onto my property? My heart goes out to anybody who wouldn't open their door to that person. And that's how I see migration, right? We know that these people are fleeing some of the worst scarcity on this planet. We know they're fleeing the rape gangs. We know that they're fleeing the devastation and the drug cartels. We know they're fleeing the wars that we thrive on having. And I feel like a horrible hypocrite if I were for borders. I think that it's a human right because we did it since the beginning of time. And because we are changing the climate or because we're destroying their countries, it doesn't give us the right to not let them on our property to be safe. Ellen said, Eileen, best rant ever. I don't know. That's definitely not the best rant. It's the best coffee ever. I drink my coffee. It makes me think. And then after the coffee's done, it goes away. And I go back to blue is a nice color. I always need to boot. I always need to boot to my head. All right, Mark, I'm not sure where you're going with that comedy, but we all need boots to our head. We always need to feel a little crushed sometimes to know that it's not a good idea to put the boot on the neck of human beings. And that's what we're all really under these billionaires. Time Warner, everybody cheer the billionaires. Yay, good job. Time Warner and AT&T, Ma Bell, putting the band back together. Ma Bell, Monopoly back together. You're going to brainwash more people. Big, what are they? Digital telecommunication company and television company putting the two together, and they're already in bed, in pocket with the CIA, Operation Mockingbird, and all the payoffs and that nonsense that goes on. Man, that billionaires, y'all doing a good job. Sometimes I sit back. I just like, man, hey, listen, they got you. Get people cheering it. Yay, the billionaires, such a good merger. Oh my goodness, this is fantastic. And they always trick people because that's how they trick people with the Telecommunication Act in 1996. Oh, this is going to be a good idea, getting everybody to share infrastructure, and we're going to have immense speeds and lots of competition, and we're going to have just low prices. Are the prices lower? Does your cable bill go up every single daggone month like mine does? And every year you need to call the cable company. I'm going to switch. They haven't figured the game out yet. I'm switching. And you tell them that, and of course they come down on the price, $40, things didn't get any better, but they take things that seem like a good idea of the time and they screw us. That's how it always goes. It always seems like a good idea at the time. And now we got, was it a dozen media corporations run all the media all over the world? Come on. We got to stop going with these good ideas. If it's unconstitutional, you got no rights to be involved in that and say that these corporations who, was it, Johnny the plumber can actually utilize the bandwidth that your corporation put in? No. That was government overstepping its ability. I think if we really think about it, it's probably unconstitutional, right? It sounds like a good idea because we're tired of the we're sitting here waiting for the pictures to download. Sitting there waiting for the movie to download, y'all media pirates. And just say no, fundamentally, no. Government, it is not your business to be involved. We need organic economies. We need our things to come together organically, and things tend to take care of themselves. They tend to be more sustainable if the way all this set up is more organic. But when government steps in, we always end up in a bad place because they're not as smart as they think they are. Never. Or they're as dirty and corrupt as our conspiracy friends say. Very possible. Help them because they're sentient and feel. Help them because they're sentient and feel. Includes other species, and I'm with you on that. That's why you help. You help because you can help. How about that? How about we don't even look at that they're human? How about we help because we can? You know, how about we open the door and protect someone fleeing devastation just because we can? Because it's no skin off our backs. You know, outside of the fact that most people who say they're religious have no option, they're supposed to help and feed people in need, is what their alien gods told them. Outside of that fact, even if it does cause you pain, even if you lose your shirt in the deal, you're supposed to give them the shirt off your back. You know, and that's why you help people. You help people because you can help them. Brother Mark says why he loves trolls too. I love trolls because trolls, they make you think. They're like fake news. And half the time they're funny as hell too. I like it. I think that that's how our society is. It's an organic thing. Labels and generalizations are dismissive and disrespectful. Hard to have a real conversation when the other half smacks labels on everything and everybody. Yes, Jennifer, absolutely. And that's why I talk about religion and atheism a lot. I think we need to break down those lines. The whole GMO, anti-GMO thing, we need to break down those lines. We need to break down these labels because people hear label and automatically they're supposed to fight you or get on your side and fight. And that's just the dumbest, stupidest thing that we get played with. And 7 billion people are a heck of a lot smarter than that. Let me see. What else we got? Adrian, give us something to fight each other over while we're being poisoned. That's it, Adrian. Corporations want to make money. Get the dumb monkeys fighting, and the 98% monkeys at the top make a whole lot of money. Harriet Tubman said she would have saved many more slaves if they only realized they were slaves. Go on, Sandra. You're always nailing it out. And that's the fact, is that our friends and family, they don't know that they're debt labor for slaves. And so they're okay to prop this system up. And so that's why I keep saying it every day. I go to the plantation, pick my cotton every day. Why would you say that? That's just insensitive. Oh no, it's true. That's why I say it. I can't walk away from my plantation if I want to. Can you? You know, well, shoot, the system in America anyway, how it's set up. You have a job, you're making money, and you're paying taxes, or you're in prison. Those are your only options. You don't have any other options. That's not called freedom. That's called slavery. Or it's called permanent indentured servitude, where they will make you a slave in prison, and then you'll go work at the Clinton mansion. Our bipartisan system breeds disrespect and conflict. Yes, it does, Jennifer, which is why I have nothing to do with either party. There's a huge difference between the climate changes that evolve and geoengineering. We can't ignore the elephant in the room. Yes, and Melba, you're right. There's a big difference between the climate that always changes and the dumb geoengineering things that government does because nobody's watching them. They are allowed to have secrets, you know, and some of them don't keep secret anymore. You can look at university studies now, and you can see that these things were planned in projects way back when y'all called them conspiracy chemtrail people. Now, are airplanes spraying it now? I don't know. I don't know anything. What I know is they shouldn't have the secrets. Government secrets got to go. It's got to be the bottom line standing point. Yo, we got to agree on that common ground. Absolutely no secrets in government. They have no right to have any secrets. It's not their planet. He just wants to see the open corruption of the system. Yes, James, which is why I'm okay. And this is why I'm okay with it. You know, like Trump, he that brother doesn't care, boy. He's just like, look, I'm gonna do this and that's it. You know, but if you get somebody that's slick in there, some little silver tongue, charismatic person that people fall for, then people will go back to minding their own business, being happy with the cotton gin being developed all over the world. Entertainment for the masses, the perfect distraction for the deep state. Yeah, Adrian, the world is a stage, and I completely understand that, and I agree with that. And I don't, I kind of laugh. Like I said, I actually haven't seen any of the press releases talking about whatever his speech after the whole North Korean nuclear thing. I already know the deal. I already know that there's no way on this planet anybody with any sense of logic in that country would de-nuke. And if he did, they'd kill him. So there's no way that he's de-nuking. They do that because they want people to jump up and scream that, oh, Trump did what Obama couldn't do. Because you notice that everything isn't about whether it's a good idea or not. It's just about did Obama do the opposite? And he's doing the opposite because it pisses the Obama people off, the people who still think he was a good president, that he actually had anything to do with poor people, middle class, or even upper class. And it rallies the Trump people. And I'm just saying, don't be stupid enough to fall into either category. The world is sick. It's the system that needs to be fixed, not the politics. The politics are just for division. The system is what enables it to be profitable for 10 kids a day to die from starvation on a planet full of food while they're dumping food off the side of trucks. Like racial needs robust force. Like radical needs robust forces. Right. Carrie, well, I missed that. I'm a little far up in the comments. I'm sorry, dear. I'm not sure what you're saying there. Adrian, politicking. Right. Just a bunch of ticks. Wipe them off. Get the ticks off. They're just politic. They're just creating different divisions and groups. And they're a bunch of ticks. What else we got? I can only read short comments. I got to get down. I got the last couple comments. I got to get running. I just donated a bag of clothing to a local thrift store yesterday. Sandra, that's a great idea. And that's what I'm going to have to do, because I actually have a lot of extra clothes. I want to get down to a place where I don't have any more than maybe a dozen shirts. If I can get down there, I'll be happy. Maybe a dozen pair of pants. And that'll be my next step. That'll be my next goal I'll set for myself, looking in my own mirror. The tiny houses movement symbolizes our need to simplify and be mobile. Yes, Jennifer, it does. And it also reduces our impact on the world. You can't tell me you're serious about climate change and you live in a McMansion. I just look at you like, okay, you're mad at the right for climate change, huh? Yeah, that's a nice house you got there. It's a nice SUV you're driving. You fight climate change, huh? The left gonna be, okay, yeah, all right. Washington said, deeds, not words. Amen, Brother James. It's all about actions. Words mean nothing. Presidents who go in and know the problems and speak about the swamp and the plugs, but they don't touch the plugs, we need to ask why. They're either all lying, corrupt bastards, or they know not to touch those plugs because the people are not behind them. The people are still gaslit. When the people wake up and demand government to actually start doing the right thing and stick to some kind of morals or ethics, then they can. Until then, they're just gonna get wiped. Love the sufficient tiny homes. Yes, Sandra, love them. Good analogy. Thank you, Jennifer. Blowback is real. Blowback is real, Mark. Nobody's gonna touch them plugs. Nobody, no Congress, Senate, Supreme Court. Nobody's gonna. And if the other country, look at your media plugs. They're putting in plugs and they're filling your swamp up because it works so well on America. And they're teasing you with consumerism. They're teasing you with the lifestyle in America, and you need to say no. I know this. I know this bald dude in America saying, no, go the other way. He said, it's the wrong way. Don't come this way. Go the other way. This does not work. Let's live in fear and not help displaced people and children that we displaced in the first place because there might be a radical in there. Right, Crystal? And that's my point. We caused the problem. We caused the problem. We caused them to want to migrate. It's not our place to say they can't migrate to our country. You know, if the majority of people say they're religious, they got these religions and believe in gods, or they're atheists, they believe in natural law and working together as a collective and a group, then how come they don't actually follow the laws of their religion or their belief system? It's because there's something else in there. They're being given selective news. It's not their fault. They're intellectuals like everybody else, but we got to look at all sides of the debate. And if for 1 minute we were born in one of those countries, Libya or wherever, all we'd want is a helping hand. We wouldn't want a handout. We would just want a chance. That's all we would want. But we got to put ourselves in those shoes and stop agreeing with the one-sided news. Kool-Aid's in the comments today. All right, Galen, I didn't see it. Yes, stop drinking the Kool-Aid. Gotta stop drinking the Kool-Aid. Funny how some can ignore the extremist Christians but notice every other radical position from any other religion. No, it's not funny, Galen. It's media. It's not funny. It's media. It's pastors. It's not funny at all. It's scary. It's scary because they'll look at, they don't know that ISIS isn't a Muslim or Islam thing. It's an ideology of, probably started by the CIA, but of extremism. We got Taliban Christians. That's what I used to call them, Taliban Christians, ISIS Christians. We have them too, Al-Qaeda Christians. It's just a mindset, it's a psychological mindset that it's okay to kill you because I'm upset with you. I say it all, terrorism to me doesn't exist because people in their own house aren't terrorists. If you are in their house, turning over the furniture, shooting the walls and choosing rooms which you're gonna own, putting somebody else, taking your kids and putting them in power over the house, you know, they're not terrorists. You're the terrorist, you know, and while they're violent because, and they shouldn't be, the reality is they're fighting back. They didn't start the fight, you know, and we have Christian extremist groups, and Westboro Baptist Church isn't the only one. You know, they're not the only one. They're one of many Christian extremist groups. The Westboro Baptist Church, they just have the worst advertising. That's all they have. You've got extremist Christians doing the same thing. They're yelling at the Mullah schools and they shouldn't be teaching children that. And they got little 6-year-olds going up preaching on the stage. And I'm talking about it because I believe in Christ. I stop at the word Christian because I don't want to associate with those who hate Christ. I believe Christ was real. I think most Christians have a lot in common with those who hate Christ because they refuse to go along with his teachings. Deeds, not words. Amen. All the time, all day long. Deeds, not words. That last couple comments. Drink more coffee. Thank you, Jennifer. I love my coffee. I can't drink more because my foot will start tapping and I'll post like a 4-hour video. I don't want to do that. Once you realize that the quantum world has no borders, you realize neither does the rest of the universe. Thank you, Deborah. I'm gonna end it on that. No borders in space. There are no borders anywhere. You can walk to the borders, they're not actually there. When you embrace the reality of quantum entanglement, you'll realize that we are all connected. All of us. Every single one of us. The indoctrination is just this little flesh meaty thing you were born into, but the controls of everything are in a different dimension or phase or something that we don't understand. You know, the intelligence that plants display. Watch, there are two documentaries. I forgot the names of. One's called What Plants Think About. I forgot the other. Secret World of Plants, I think it's called. And look at the intelligence of a plant. Plants don't have brains. They don't have neural networks. So how do they display intelligence? It's because there's a quantum attachment that we don't understand, which means that we are all connected. You know, the feelings you get when you look at a really old tree, they're in that phase dimensional thing that we don't understand too. And to me, it's the merger of science and religion. It's the merger of showing that all these mystical things, there's basis, there's scientific quantum basis for those things. You know, that's why I got off of my belief that maybe aliens, are they real? I don't ask that anymore. We know that these multi-dimensional creature things, whatever they are, other planets that came here, we know that what they spoke was actually true. Besides the fact that we're finding artifacts all over the world with aliens on them and all these teachings. So no borders in space, y'all. We got to become, listen to Sister Deborah, we got to become quantum people. Let your mind work in a quantum way because your mind is quantum. All cells are. They're all connected in ways we don't understand. The lady running from the gang that's running in front of your house, they're you. They're your daughter. We are all connected. Anyway, this is Gerard. Been a wonderful, wonderful talk. You guys have a good day. Focus on the two swamps. That's how you'll know you have a champion. That's how I'll know when I have a champion. When someone actually follows through on trying to pull one of the two plugs that gives Americans back their brain, that will give the world back its freedom. That's how you know I got a champion that we can share. Y'all have a great day. It's Gerard. Love y'all to death. Time to pick the cotton. Bye.